What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Nuts and Bolts MMA, where you get the nuts and bolts of what's going on inside the world of MMA. I am your host, Travis Montgomery. It is May 3rd. We got a brand new month coming, 2021. We will be recapping UFC on ESPN 23. I guess I was using the wrong hashtag last weekend. Whatever. We've got some news to get to. A lot of crazy stuff happens over the weekend, and look for another episode later on this week. I myself am doing great. I sent in my application to test for my journeyman's card for electrician. So once I get that, I have an in at the union over here in Kern County, Bakersfield. So that's pretty exciting stuff. I'm not working right now this week. So it kind of gave me some extra time to do that. And I went for a nice long run today, so I will be ready to go to bed later. But not before we talk about some scraps. And joining me today is Sensei Rob. I'm just going to call you Sensei Rob from now on.
Sounds good.
Good Bert 209 on Twitter. He is from actually Diaz Land neighborhood. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing good, brother. Doing good.
And real quick, I'm coming through this microphone, right?
Yeah.
Not this one.
Nope. It's the other one.
Okay, good. Let's continue on. Anything exciting going down in your life?
You know what? I got a puppy.
Oh, what kind?
Yeah, it's a Yorkie Terrier.
Do you have it close?
I will
show the people
I'm
on
going
YouTube.
to.
And while he's walking over there, I will tell everyone that now we are on Rumble. So this video will be on Rumble. You can see Sensei Rob's new puppy. And we are also on YouTube. Instagram has taken my page down. I'm not very happy about this. I'm working on getting the Instagram back up, but it's gone. So the puppy won't be. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. What's your puppy's name?
So we did not pick the name, but his name is Pyrrhus, which is apparently the name of Achilles' son. I nicknamed him Little Bear because he looks like a little bear.
Yeah.
But
Pyrrhus.
he's 6 months old. We got him because so my girlfriend's parents, they picked him out of the litter. His dad, whose real name is Achilles, is their dog.
He's getting
and anyways, his dad's a regular Yorkie, and he's I guess what they call a giant Yorkie. He's huge for 6 months.
6 months, that's kind of a big dog already.
Yeah, so he was bullying his dad, stealing his food, and they were just like, "Hey, do you guys want him?" And I'm not going to say no to a dog ever. So here he is.
That is amazing. How cool.
Yeah, he got to go on a car ride today to Stockton. He did all right. He got to sit on my lap. And then he learned how to walk upstairs today because he had been living in a backyard pretty much his entire life so far. So he's getting to know what the world is like.
Well, that's awesome. That is cool of you to do that. Dogs are fun. I'm a huge dog lover. One of the only things in the world that makes me angry now that I have reinvented myself, bad dog owners will still get me angry. I will say something.
Oh my God. I'm no different. I have 3 dogs now. He's the third.
Oh,
my other
trying
two
to build
live
a basketball team.
It's my little squad, but my other 2 live with my parents because I have a bigger pit bull and a little pit wawa, and they need space. I don't like bringing them into apartments. They're not, they don't deserve an apartment. They deserve their yard, basically.
Yeah.
So they're over there right now, and I totally forgot. Oh, so my little one. The reason why I even got my little one is because I saw her across the street at my then neighbor's house, and she was tied up outside in the summer with the leash, but the handle of the leash was wrapped around her neck, and then the other part was like wrapped. It was a complete fuck show, and I was like, "Oh, fuck that!" So I went over, grabbed her, knocked on the door first, didn't answer, so I didn't took her, and then that's how I got her.
Right on,
They came
man.
home.
Well,
Yeah,
you seem like a good dude that likes to rescue dogs. So that's
I've I've made coworkers stop on the way home from work to grab dogs off the side of the road.
nice. Yeah, I've done
So
that. I pulled over in the hood before and started helping dogs. It doesn't always go great. But anyways,
doesn't always.
let's get to some news now. In our first bit of news, Diego, I'm sorry, whoa, skipping the line a little bit. Nate Diaz, um, not Diego Sanchez, Nate Diaz, his fight with Leon Edwards, Mr. Rocky Edwards, is going to be pushed back to June 12th because of a minor undisclosed injury. I myself am pulling for the fight never to be happening. Actually, this is going to be at UFC 263, Adesanya versus Vettori 2. If it's the same June 12th card, that's going to be in Gila River Arena, Arizona, Glendale. That's right. I heard someone say something about Glendale.
Mhm.
They're going to have some fights in Arizona and Glen. What do you got? What's the inside
Well,
209 scoop on this one?
there is no scoop. This is news to me as well.
Just happened.
What I
right?
do just happened. What I do understand though is it's still going to be a 5-round fight. They're just moving it along. I wonder if the injury was something like for example, when Nate fought Jorge last time, and after the fight, I don't know if you remember the post fight presser, but he was talking about how he had a little injury during training camp and he wasn't able to run as much, and this is why he didn't feel like he could put the gas. He gave all these excuses as to why he was starting so slow, and I wonder if whatever that injury was is nagging him again,
Yeah.
and he wants to ensure that he can get all the proper. I mean, I'll be honest, he needs all the training camp. He's gonna need all the stamina for this fight with Leon, just because, like, in order for him to win, he needs to make this an ugly fucking marathon, and you know what I mean. He has to make this an ugly fight and try and break Leon down conditioning wise.
He's got to
So
survive the first 3 rounds.
absolutely,
Without
no,
getting cut
absolutely,
up really bad either. I guess
which
it's not
is
not in New York, so
not New York, but his any they just need everything to go right for him, and any kind of injury that might limit his conditioning or might limit how he trains. I don't blame him for for pushing the fight. I don't blame him at all.
yeah. All right. So also on this card is Davison Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno and Israel
Yeah,
Adesanya versus Marvin Vittori. So those are going to for sure be 5-round fights.
yes, they
So
are.
I don't know how they're going to swing that. The feature bout being a 5 main, they already have 2 title fights. Now they're going to have another 5-round fight on that card.
See, what was crazy, I think they're gonna. What's crazy about this is that the co-main event isn't going to be a title fight. They're going to make. I have a feeling they're going to make
Oh,
Nate and Leon the
yeah.
co-main event, and then is Stylebender and Marvin be the main, and then Figueroa and Moreno be
The
that
feature,
bottom, the feature bout.
yeah, that's the one before the co-main event. They call it the feature bout.
Yeah,
All right. Well,
and it'll be interesting to see how they swing that.
let's see what happens moving forward with that one. I kind of just
You don't
hope
want
the
to.
fight. No, I don't want that fight to happen. So now that Diego Sanchez has officially been cut from the UFC because of the antics that we explained in episode 11, you can go back and listen to that. We detailed how crazy his manager is and all that. We don't need to really go back into that whole situation, but it is confirmed now that Diego Sanchez is out of the UFC. He got his walking papers. I don't I don't know what that means all by itself. If I want to see him in Bellator or PFL, but Donald Cerrone now will fight Alexander Morono at the UFC event on May 8th.
Yeah. So I just watched the Morono fight. Chaos Williams were hopping on here. I hadn't heard of him, so I wanted to watch something. And I picked the wrong fight because it was a fight where he got absolutely just knocked the fuck out. And I feel like it's not wasn't the best what's the word I'm looking for here? Wasn't the best first impression.
Yeah.
But I went through his record afterwards and I looked at who he fought, and it doesn't seem like he's a slouch. It doesn't seem like, you know, he's going to be an easy fight for Cowboy. If anything, I think it's such a short notice fight. Who knows what his conditioning looks like and all that, being taken into account here. But I have a feeling that Cowboy is going to get knocked out.
I know.
And
It depends on how
like,
he looks, man. He can
it
come up,
does.
beat him. He can beat him. He can very well beat him, but Cowboy's got to be on, and we don't know if Cowboy can turn it
And
on anymore.
and a part of me kind of feels like Diego getting cut right now, or Diego's getting cut, fucked Cowboy's send off. Because Cowboy, I don't like saying he had a for sure win against Diego, but that was a much more likely scenario with a guy who's also on the last legs of his career, as opposed to a young dude coming up with heavy ass hands, a solid chin, and the willingness to stand and bang and trade with you. Like, that doesn't spell recipe for success for Cowboy. And I feel like he might get fucked.
Well, Moreno's been around a while too, and he's had some wars, but not like Cowboy Cerrone. Obviously, he's beat Max Griffin and Song Kanon, who was looking pretty good for a while. He lost Anthony Pettis, but that was a really close fight.
Yeah,
from what I remember.
And then Chaos Williams knocked him out with something vicious.
Well, Chaos Williams can do that to anyone,
anybody. But and then what's the other guy's name he beat in between that was Reese. What? I won't say Hoskins, but that's a player from the Phillies.
McKee.
Reese McKee. That's right.
Yeah. Well, I hope. I guess I'm not a homer for Moreno, but let's see. I hope Cowboy wins. I hope he can go out on a win.
Yeah, I think we all want. I don't think anybody's hoping he loses here. Even, outside of Moreno and his guys, Moreno. Moreno?
Yeah, Moreno. Okay, well, he is from Houston, Texas. His trainer is Saif Saud. Oh yeah, he's got a pretty good camp too. That's one of my rules is the camp.
And
a good rule. I think are they? I can't think of it right now. Anyways,
what's the camp?
Saif Saud. I think is it Matrix. Hold on.
Oh, Rafael Fiziev. Why am I thinking of that?
I'm gonna have to cut this part out. Fortis, that's right. Jesus Christ. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Saif Saud is actually the head coach at Fortis MMA, and I've been betting the shit out of those guys lately. So that actually puts another kind of spin on it for me. Let me see if there's any betting lines out yet. No, there's not. It just was kind of announced today. So, well, I don't know. If I get Moreno as an underdog on that one, I might have to take it. Sorry, Cowboy. Moving on.
Real quick, who are some of the notable guys out of his camp?
Out of Fortis?
Yeah.
I'll have to look that up on Tapology. It's a good one.
There's all kinds of websites now.
Ryan Spann, Damon Jackson, Diego Freire.
Okay.
There's some other dudes coming up. There's a bunch of them.
Okay.
A lot of fighters with winning records.
I was going to get ready to say that. It seems like a lot of guys who are in the UFC and doing just fine.
Macy Chason. I mean, so many fighters with winning records. You can look them up on Tapology. I think it's an up and coming camp.
Hmm.
You know, Ryan Span's 19-6, Damon Jackson's 18-4, Alex Moreno's 18-7, Diego Freire is 17-3. He's at the top of the heap of the lightweight division right now. So that's
Hmm.
a great camp to come from. I'd like to know more about how Cowboys camp is gone, who he's been training with. I know he runs the BMF ranch up there, but who's he bringing in? Oh, Jeff Neal's also from Forest MMA. That's the big one too.
Yeah.
Um,
What's it called? Is doesn't Cowboy train with like Joe Schilling and those guys up there?
yeah, he
Mickey
trains, but
Gall
I
and
think they go to his place,
they go to
and
his
then
place.
he goes to I don't know. He kind of travels around. But
Got it.
anyways, let's go. Let's move on to the next bit of news. Sean O'Malley will fight Luis Smolka at UFC 264 on July 10th. What do you think about this?
I First of all, I'm not a big fan of Sean O'Malley. I used to be very clear about this as a person. As a fighter, though, that motherfucker is smooth as silk. That boy is just silky smooth. Um, his opponent, though, again, kind of last minute. Don't really know too much about him. I haven't seen him too much. Um, I I'm just again judging off the picture. It looks like one of those like they're leading a lamb to slaughter kind of a deal. I could be completely wrong though. I hope I'm completely wrong. Again, I hope I am. Sean O'Malley as a person, I would love to see him on another loss, but he's just so smooth. I don't see it happening.
Yeah,
I
this
mean,
seems like a setup fight for Sean O'Malley.
yeah. I mean, anything can happen. It's mixed martial arts. I mean, the Cheeto Vera fights example right there. But that kid, I mean, his hands are just so. I, I'm gushing. I got to stop gushing for somebody I hate.
Well, I mean, Smoker looked good in his last performance. He beat Jose Quijones he finished him by TKO. He lost to Casey Kenny, and Casey Kenny's at the top of the
Mm.
heap right now. He's also lost to Matt Schnell in the last couple of years. He's looked like, you know, he's gone on a 4-fight losing streak before, and then he goes on a 4-fight winning streak. So it's going
He's
to be
been around.
interesting to see who are like kind of where he's at. And Sean O'Malley is probably a good litmus test. And look, Luis Smoka is nobody's bitch. He's going to go in there. He's going to throw down, and he's got that Hawaiian fighting spirit. So what this does seem like the UFC is giving a gift to O'Malley, kind of.
But Smoka might have the ability to ruin that party, which
Yes,
would be beautiful.
Smoka might Smolka him.
I'm gonna have to look into the Smoka after this. Watching his fights, Smoke a bowl.
There you go. That one was better.
There it is.
UFC 264. That's the Poirier versus McGregor. So now you've got Conor McGregor and Sean O'Malley on that card. They're trying to sell some
Tickets.
pay-per-views and tickets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
I swear, I feel like Sean O'Malley. Just let me go on a little tangent here, real quick, but I feel like he could have way more of a popular reach if he wasn't such a douchebag.
Well, the problem with him is the way he took that loss
Didn't
to,
help at all, for sure.
yeah, and
But
he just keeps piling on top of like that loss that he had.
you know
And
what though? Even as I think about it though, I mean, the way he handled the loss, I can accept that. I can accept being so just egotistical and braggadocious and just fuck it. It was a fluke, YOLO. I never lost. I can accept that. But he's such a douche. It makes it impossible. Ah, that was my rant.
he does come off as a douche.
He reminds me of every 20-something-year-old that I walk by and just immediately cringe at. I
Well,
think that's really what it is too.
that's what he is.
That's exactly what he is.
That's what he is.
I'm an adult. Oh,
Yeah,
Jesus.
I'm on some grown man shit. All right, now we got some Twitter beef.
Good old Francis though.
We've got some Twitter beef between Francis Ngannou and John Jones. Francis Ngannou doesn't hardly ever tweet. He's coming out. Well, John Jones, he goes on these tweet storms, and then he said, "Motivate me more," and then tags Francis Ngannou. And he said, Francis responds with, "I shouldn't have to motivate you, Johnny. If it's not in you already, you've already lost. I know my motivation." Francis also says, "You're a decision fighter," tags John, "and you barely want to fight lately, but you're going to break me." Laugh, crying emoji. And then John replies, this is a day later, "Pray you knock me out, because if you don't, I'm going to break you. And that's a promise," tags Francis. "Please don't make me laugh," with a yawn emoji. "When's the last time that you break somebody out?" That's what he said with the curious. This is great. So this Twitter back and forth between this fight that we're kind of waiting for to get signed. I don't know. I think I love it. What do you
I'm both amazed, perplexed, and in love all at the same time. I'm amazed that Francis is completely ignoring Derek Lewis the way he is, despite the fact that I think they've all kind of like, Dana wants the Derek Lewis fight. Everyone kind of is like just pointing at that's probably the most likely event, considering this holdout with John Jones right now. But he's just saying, "Fuck Derek Lewis. I wanted John," and I love it because it's just, as champion, you should be calling out who you want to fight. Like, I love how Kamaru, Izzy, and now Francis are dictating who they are going to fight, like, as champion. I like that. It's just, it doesn't always work, and it can lead to problems for sure, but when it works, it's beautiful, and you get the fights that you want as a fan, I think, that way. And then John, I mean, he tweets like an erratic coke whore. I mean, let's be real here. I swear to God, every time he gets on the tweet bender, I'm like, is he on drugs again?
It's always
nope.
late night too.
Always late night. Like, I feel like he has all the habits still, but without any of the.
But you know what, dude? He still posts those insane workout videos too. So he's always been able to party and work out. Or in a lot of the points of his career, he was partying and not even really training and still going out there and beating everyone.
I was going to say, like, the amount of training he's doing now, which seems like casual training just to be better, is something I don't think he's ever really done in his career. He just got by on pure talent, which was just so much greater than everybody else's. And on that note, I mean, let's just be real clear here to Francis. Although John has had a few decisions lately, it was only a few fights ago where he kicked Daniel Cormier and punched him into oblivion, and Alex Gustafsson, and you know what I mean?
I was there actually for Alex too and DC. I was at both of them. They were both in.
See, yeah, you saw it. Like, that man he had two tough fights against guys where I feel like he Mayweathered the Dominic Reyes and Thiago Santos fight, if that makes sense. Like, he did what he absolutely had to do to win the fight, but he didn't do anything crazy. Like, he Mayweathered it. Floyd Mayweather won a split decision to fucking Oscar De La Hoya. But if you really watched that fight, was he really in any, you know what I mean? It's one of those things where, like, it's a split decision, but was it really a split decision?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we've exhausted this. We talk about it almost every episode now, so we got to tell there's a fight announcement.
That's true.
But it is fun to talk about. But I don't know. We gotta let it go for now. And so
I know, but I feel like seeing scary Francis is something that we all want to see. Like, we've seen him like scary, but like, it's angry scary.
You know what? He was slow against Stipe. But moving on, we're gonna go to recap UFC Vegas 23, Reyes versus Prochaska.
That was a hell of a fight, is what that was. I feel like Dominic Reyes fought just like every Mexican child thinks they're going to fight in a prize fight. Just full on blood and guts, and just going for it was. And he did it so technically. I got to be very clear here. Dominic Reyes did exactly, like, I feel like the fight is exactly how I thought it was going to be. Somebody being very unorthodox, very weird.
Say the result first.
Oh shit, go for it.
Jiri Prochaska defeats Dominic Reyes by spinning back elbow round 2 of round two, and 4 minutes 30 seconds on the clock. I think it was yeah, well into round two. Yeah, all right, continue on now.
Yeah. Um, but no, it went again. Jiri was very unorthodox, very weird, just Tony Ferguson like as a light heavyweight, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it
Just
does.
awkward. And then Dominic Reyes was technical, very athletic, very, I mean, to the point with what he wanted to do. And it was a contrast in styles. And at the end of the day, the unorthodox would won. I mean, and it was for all of the wonderful fighting back that Dominic Reyes was doing, the shots he was landing, it just seemed like for every shot that he landed, and that the one that for every shot that Jiri landed, I mean, Dominic Reyes was getting the worse for wear every time he took a punch. Like that dude was like every time he got hit, it looked like his skin just crumbled a little more, and just
So
crumbled.
Jerry was getting hit, but he was also landing. He lands at 7 strikes per minute, but he's also absorbing 6.
Mm-hmm.
And with the way that he fights, yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. It's very comparable to a light heavyweight version of Tony Ferguson, whose hands are down. He's like awkward
Just
movement, hard to time, but he also did get it. He gets hit a lot. So does Tony. Tony gets dropped a lot. He absorbs a
mm-hmm.
lot of strikes, and he actually did get rocked and wobbled in that first round. And with the way that he fights, it's going to catch up to him eventually. But right now he's on a
Yeah.
warpath, and he seemed to walk through all Dominic's. I mean, most of his strikes, but
He ate some I mean, he ate some left hands from Dominic that would have slept many a man, and have slept some fantastic chins, and he went through them all. Like he just said fuck it, and he did get wobbled in the first round, and it was just that man's chin is something else entirely. I would have liked to see Dominic wrestle more, especially after getting that first takedown in the first. Um, I really would have liked to see him try more of that, because I think that really would have. I think that could have separated if he could, found a way to continuously get a takedown. Maybe not even hold him down, but break the rhythm up of Jiri and just keep getting that takedown whenever you can. Make it an ugly fight in a sense, in that way. But it was just.
yeah, I just think also he didn't have time kind of to react because Jerry was just all over
Mhm.
him in his face, just overwhelming him.
he
Eh,
he basically made it to where like you had like there's a concept where it's like you make your opponent run with you. You don't give your opponent no time to breathe, no time to rest. It's like when we're doing this, you take a couple steps back to get some space and breathe. Now fuck that, I'm on your shit. Even if I'm not throwing punches at you, I'm pacing you, I'm chasing you, and you have to then in turn run. And that's what Jerry was doing to Dominic Reyes. He was making him run the whole fight just to move out the fucking way. And that is so draining, especially when your opponent's like just chilling the entire time. Like, I'm here still. Mentally, that shit breaks you down where it's like, how I have to do this shit for 3 more rounds? What the fuck? God damn. And it was just that I'm telling you, this Jerry, it's going to be interesting seeing how this run goes for him.
yeah,
It really is.
he puts a pace on people that is it's hard to match, dude. It is really hard to match. And I think it's also that haircut that he has, which looks cool and everything, but he almost couldn't pull his damn head out of that guillotine.
For
It
sure.
wasn't even locked. It wasn't even locked in anymore. He just couldn't get his head out because it was too long. It was like, what you got to do
Yeah.
is pop your head back at that point,
Yeah.
and he couldn't do it.
And Dominic almost had that guillotine too. At one point, he had his neck. I mean, he had his neck, but alas, that is what it is.
Yeah, and shout out to myself for predicting and betting Jury. I actually,
Yes, you did.
I guess now would be a good time to do a betting recap. So what I gave out on the show was the parlay. I also gave out Stamen. I gave out Jacoby, which we'll get to, and I gave out jury. So with so we got 1 unit from jury, and then 6.1 with the Chikadze, Strickland, and Pinheiro parlay. So that's 7.1 units. I'm back into the plus. Well, actually, so I'll lose one on Stamen. So that's 3.1. And then Jacoby was a push. Wait, five. So it's 6.1. So I'm up 3.1 units now. So boom.
There you
Back in
go.
the plus. So, okay, that's good. That's the betting recap. That was a good time to do it. Moving forward now, Prochazka is going to get the winner of Glover Teixeira and John Blockowitz. So that's going to be fun. Depending on how that fight goes, it's hard to say who's going to win, but
Yeah, they're basically the same guy,
it's
Glover and
also
John.
it's also hard to see either of those two like really beating him. But I guess you never know.
I can see out of the two, Glover or Jan, I can see Jan doing it just in this weird, like, I'm an old Norse Viking and you're a younger Viking, and kind of weird, like I don't know. I feel like it's just weird bullshit martial arts, like spiritualism at the end of the day when it comes to those two. Who's the more Viking? You know, Glover, though, I mean, Glover has all the tools in the world, but I just think he would be a tad slow. A tad just, I feel like if you can cut angles on Glover, then you're going to have a good time. You know, I just think of, what's his name, Gustafson hit him with that triple uppercut, you know, into the just devastating murder KO that he threw on him. The whole fight, he was just cutting angles, cut
I
angles,
think it
cut
was
angles.
like 5 uppercuts at once.
Yeah, it was stupid, but he set all that up again, just being able to cut an angle on the outside lead foot, pop shots in there, cut more angles, and Glover's not really good on the movement and that kind of shit. But
No, and it was in the 5th round there, but I mean, Alexander Gustafsson was on fire that night. But anyways, I don't want to spend too much more time on this. Let's move on. Light heavyweight's exciting again. We got some fresh blood. So
yes, we do.
Giga Chikadze defeats Cub Swanson, TKO, liver kick and punches. I'll bring this one to you because you are the Muay Thai guy. What's it like to get kicked in your liver like that?
It fucking sucks. And the way Giga throws that kick, he's not just throwing it to like land with his instep of his foot. He threw it. He's kind of landing with the ball of his feet and the point of his toes going into your liver. So he throws it in a way where it would hurt more so than a regular kick would there. But I kind of like how I unintentionally predicted Cubs' loss by also picking Cub to win. I remember saying if he's trying to strike at any distance with, you know, Giga, if he tried to stay at distance with him at any point, it was just going to be bad for him. And sure enough, he was at distance for all of 30 seconds and got just fucking lasered in the liver. And it was beautiful. It was so beautiful.
Yeah. Cub was trying to get in his face, and I think he was trying to get in tight and close that distance, but he does such a good job of getting out of the way of that.
Yeah. And then Cub's way of trying to get in and close distance is a way where if you're not threatening a takedown, then I'm not going to worry about your little bob weave feint and, you know, then back out, because it was kind of the same repetitive pattern that Cub was doing to try and ease his way in. And Giga just kept moving a little bit out of the distance, just slightly out of distance, a couple steps, throw, strike, and then that was it. Like there was nothing that gave Giga a reason to respect Cub striking at that range at all. I mean, there was nothing there. It's like, oh, you're going to stand there being a shorter guy, you know, at that distance, and just this. That's what you're going to do. I'm going to kick you in the liver now. You know. But,
yeah, he had one high kick, and then the next one was just right under the guard to block it.
Yeah, throw the high. Yeah, you throw high, then you come low, or vice versa. You go low, then go high. You know, either way, it's always going to work.
Yeah,
always works.
Just snuck it right under that guard.
I'm telling you. And again, if you watch that, if you just slow mo on his foot, it's just the ball of his feet and the toes just javelining into your.
It sounds
Flashbacks.
intense. Yeah, there's not too much more to say because the fight only lasted a minute, and Giga kicked the shit out of Cub, and he was just bent over, and that was it. He kind of almost was a walk off body kick KO, but the ref kind of didn't.
Well, the ref muffed it a little bit.
So he had to punch him in his head a couple times.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Ian Kutsalaba versus Dustin Jacoby ends in a draw after Kutsalaba drops him in the first round, pretty much a 10-8 round, and then Jacoby comes back and pretty much punches his head off. It seems like Kutsalaba slowed down. He's kind of one of those classic one-round fighters.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping for, I was pulling for Jacoby, and he looked tough as hell out there. Kutsalaba surprised me with his wrestling. Obviously, that's what you want to do against somebody like just Dustin Jacoby, but I didn't think that he had it in him. But he sure did. He was getting takedown after takedown, and it pretty much kept him from getting knocked out because he was taking some shots too.
Yeah, man.
Rob, what do you think?
I think Jacoby got fucked. I'm not a fan of the 10-8 round in that fight. I mean, he got taken down, I think it was 11 times in the round. Sure, but they were all kind of the same takedown. He was just kind of hugging his back. He dominated the round for sure. But like I'm pretty sure you might be the same way. But like when I think of a 10-8, I think of old MMA. If you had to get a 10-8, you had to really beat the shit out of the person. I mean, really like Gray Maynard and Frankie Edgar round one. You know what I mean? Type of like beating the shit out of somebody. Multiple drops, really just put a lot of damage on them. Because if we're just basing on takedowns, relative to a little bit of damage, then I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like that slope of scoring where we're giving guys 10-8s because they got 4 takedowns, did a little bit of damage or whatever, lose the last 2 rounds handedly, and then get a draw because of it. I don't like that. That being said, Kutalaba did everything that he was supposed to do in the first round. He made the second round close enough to where another judge gave him the fight on a 29-28, and in the third round, he was definitely gassed, but he was still going. He wasn't gassed where he was broken. He was gassed, but still very dangerous. Jacoby, in that first round, you can't get taken down 11 fucking times. Simple as that. You just can't do it. I don't care what your strategy is. If you're trying to get the guy to tire out, whatever, weather the storm 11 times that's just can't do it. Because then you get 10-8 and then you get a fucking draw. I hope it's a learning lesson for him. I like the fact that he's taking it as if he won the fight and not as a loss. He's on his Instagram today or yesterday talking about it.
Celebrating his victory.
So essentially, in a way.
Well, the thing about the 10-8 round is they're supposed to be using more of them now, but some judges don't do it. So I don't know. It's the whole judging thing. It
is. It's definitely it's going to take time. It's going to take more fights like this happening and getting people like myself and other judges and whoever used to it. It's like, again, just for us, it's like, I feel like for people like myself, it's just like, where was the 10-8?
I've been waiting for them to fix judging for a really long time. And I just, you know what, when it goes to the judges' scorecards, you really have no idea what's going to happen.
You really don't.
You have no idea.
It's just, this is why, like, when people, I feel like you see a lot on Twitter, but they'll point out, again, John Jones, he lost 2 split decisions in his last couple fights. It's like, okay, shitty judging is very prevalent in mixed martial arts. Like, it's very prevalent to the point where a split decision can literally mean absolutely nothing, in the sense, like, I dominated the guy, but one retarded judge thought he won. A lot of it can be summed up in that kind of narrative right there.
People's careers too.
It has, and a lot of times it has.
Or make a career like Benson Henderson kind of built a career off of winning split decisions.
Mm-hmm.
In a sense.
But you get guys, like you said, they get robbed out of a decision, that was maybe a title eliminator or what have you, and they never make it back. It can definitely it's the difference between a win bonus and no win bonus, for a lot of these guys. So it's definitely a big issue, and I don't like any of the ways they've been going about trying to fix it. I feel like they keep trying to change the scoring criteria instead of changing the shitty judges that are there. Adelaide Bird should not be judging fights.
She was one of the ones this weekend that screwed up.
Again, like the fact that they even as a promotion are saying, I don't know if there's rules dictating if a promotion can request certain judges. There might be a conflict of interest thing there or what have you. But if it's my promotion and you bring me a set of judges and one of them is Adelaide Bird, nah, fuck her. She's ruined. You know what I mean? It's like I say it politely, but it's like, no, we don't want her. Can we have somebody else based on these very clear reasons right here?
Yeah, but the promotion has no say. It's actually a conflict of interest for them to say anything.
See, and that's
so yeah, it gets dicey. But I don't want to spend too much time on that. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Sean Strickland defeats Krzysztof Jodko. Pretty much puts on a striking clinic. I don't know who the hell thought that Jodko won a round in that, because it was 30-27 on 2 judges scorecards, but 29-28 on 1. Pretty much a striking clinic. He looked really good.
He did look really good, and to the Jotko guy, you can't have a Vegeta tattoo on your shoulder and get beat up like that. I need to make that very clear right now. I was hurt. I saw his tattoo and I was like, I'm going for that guy. He has a Vegeta tattoo. By the middle of the first round, I was like, shit. But what I really like about Sean Strickland though is like he's had this long layoff due to an injury, and then he comes back, and the casualness. I'm just trying to make up a word there. The casualness that he goes about striking with, like very minimal movement. He's just very I'm in, I'm out. Oh, there's a corner. Now you don't see a whole lot of head movement, very subtle. Everything's just so subtle with him, and it's just very refreshing to see, and again, to the other guy, he was throwing a lot. He was throwing with power. He didn't seem like he got tired. He was active the entire fight, but he was like, every time he struck, he reminded me of Michelle Watterson throwing a jab. 3 feet away, throwing an overhand right, 2 feet away, trying to throw a kick. It's like, why are you so far away? Take your step, throw your punch, close the distance. You're not as tall as Mr. Strickland. You don't have the reach to just throw these overhands the way you're throwing them and land them. You can take your step in. Move your fucking feet. Move your feet.
Yeah. Yeah, Jodko, he's not great everywhere. If he had better stand-up defense, he might be going a little further, but
yeah, he was on a 3-fight win streak too, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
He'll beat people outside of the top 15, but he's not messing with any of those other dudes.
Yeah, clearly.
Moving on, Merab Dvalishvili defeats Cody Stamann 30-27 and then 29-28 times 2. I thought Cody Stamann, it was kind of the thought that I had going into it was that this fight was going to look kind of how it is, but Cody Stamann was fighting his ass off. He didn't get tired. He kept getting up. He was landing big shots on Merab. I think with a couple adjustments, that decision could have gone his way if he makes a couple adjustments. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he was in the first round. He was on the right path in the first round. It was like I said before, like his striking was so diversified and his ability to like just match the grappling with Merab. I felt like that was going to be the equalizer. His striking, the grappling being kind of neutralized, and then taking down Merab. It was just going well for him. But then going into the second round, like getting taken down, the series of takedowns he got taken down with, and that grinding, that round 2 was just purely a grappling match, it seems like. And he lost it. And I think, this is my opinion, I think that those exchanges sapped enough energy to where he wasn't gassed. But if you watch that third round compared to the first round, he was just a half step behind almost on everything. Just a little half step behind in the striking, a little bit half step behind in the grappling, and his body language looked a little more tired, as opposed to Marab, who was just this weird. I don't understand people
He's a
conditioning like
freak.
that.
I don't like him. I should like him because he's a wrestler, and I tend to favor wrestlers, but I like American wrestlers. And this
Yeah,
guy, I just remember this bet that I took on him to win inside the distance, and he seemed like he had every opportunity to try and choke, but all he does is just position, position, position.
yeah,
Son of a. Oh, I still have a bad taste on my mouth because of that one. So
yeah.
I might forever. Someone's going to knock this dude's block off. He's not getting a title shot. Someone's going to stop this man, please.
I'm interested. The amount of
Not
the
in that
shots
division.
the shots he took in that fight too were not light shots. That dude has a chin, and I mean, it just goes to show that just how much conditioning plays into your chin. Like if you don't have the wind, you can't take those kind of shots. And the fact that he can just take them and just kind of like smile in that weird Georgian smile of his, and just proceed to do things again crazy. But it was a really good fight, though. Honestly, to me, it was probably the fight of the night.
It
I
was
mean,
fun.
those two, it was definitely fun. I love their grappling exchanges. It was very high level. Cody Stamann has a very high ceiling still. I also appreciate how he's taking the loss. He thinks he won.
I could see these two rematching in like 5 years when they're in like Jim Miller status, and they've both like gone through their career, the peaks of their career, and then they're
Yeah,
just kind of on there. They're just like,
it'd
fuck it.
be like the BJ Penn Jens Pulver trilogy, like or do
Yeah,
whatever that was. They fought
let's
twice
do it
or three.
again.
Yeah,
All right, other notable wins. Luana Pinheiro defeats Marcos via upkick. That wasn't how I wanted to win that one, but I'll take it. TJ Brown defeats Kai Kamaka. A lot of people thought that one was bad. It was a split decision. Luana Carolina defeats Pauliana Botello in a huge upset. Loma Lakbunmi defeats Sam Hughes, super outclassed.
that's Muay Thai.
Michaelides, yeah, she's straight Muay Thai background. Michaelides defeats KB Bullher. That guy KB shouldn't be fighting in the UFC. Felipe Colares defeats Luke Sanders. That was a pretty good fight in the first one. Anything to say about the preliminary card real quick before we get out of here?
I missed the first two. Luma, that
All
woman.
right, that's it.
That-
You're casual. I'm ending this right now.
I'm sorry, I'm not a part of the prelim gang. No, Luma,
Oh,
she's going to be. I'm telling you that they got to bring her along right. If they bring her along right, she's going to be a major something. That her striking is just phenomenal.
yeah. You got to say it in a Filipino accent though. Lakbunmi.
Oh,
Lakbunmi.
Lakbun.
Every time I say it in my head, I say it with a Filipino accent.
And then,
I grew up around a lot of different people. Anyways.
oh man, it's okay. I got a lot of Filipino family.
Oh, you do?
I used to. Oh, I do. I got a lot of them.
Fucking
I used to.
one of my best friends is Filipino. Still.
There you go.
Okay. At the end of each episode, we like to give shout outs. My shout out for this week is going to be to Dustin Poirier because he's got that children's charity going. He talks about staying hydrated, and that's what I got to do in this Bakersfield sun now that I'm running in. Sensei Rob.
Today's shout out is going to go to
The dog.
the dog. We're going to go to the puppy.
Pyrus.
Pyrus the virus.
I like that name. I'm going to make a clip out of him.
Yeah, he gets a shout out tonight.
Okay. And on that note, everyone else, step your game up.